12. It's just not, I don't have time to edit. I really don't. But I'm on my way to work right now, and I thought that I could go. I'm going now. I thought that I would share with you guys my kind of ADHD journey that I'm in right now. I'm sorry if this is kind of a slack vlog. It is Vlogmas, so this is technically a vlog. It's not like the other two videos that I posted that were actual like content videos just for Vlogmas. Anyway, but I thought I'd start with just kind of how I got here. So I have been, so it's going to be really difficult to get through, and you're going to see why I should probably edit this video, but I'm not gonna. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Those inflatables are all deflated, and they just look like a bunch of dead bodies strewn across their lawn. So I'll start with this. ADHD in women and men present very differently. Men, you kind of focus more on the H part of ADHD, which is the hyperactive part. Typically you see that, like, the thing that I can think of is like little boys, and they're like disrupting the class, and they're loud, and they're, you know, running around all the time, and you can't just get them to sit and calm down. That's the hyperactive part of ADHD that a lot of people just kind of focus on. In women, however, while they can have the hyperactive part of ADHD, there is more likely that they will show what they call an inattentive, I guess, section of ADHD. There used to be ADD, which was just attention deficit disorder, without the H, which is ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactive disorder. They are now both umbrellaed under the singular ADHD term. However, there are still, I guess, subcategories, as you would say. So there is inattentive, hyperactive, and then a mixture of both. I am kind of a mixture of both. I took my ADHD evaluation with my psychiatrist or my therapist 2 days ago, and it went to me really well. One of the things that I've noticed, for me at least, is with my ADHD, I always did really well in school. I'd never had any final grade below a C. And I think I've only gotten a C in my classes less than 5 times in my entire academic career, I guess you could say. And I went to college for 3 years, I believe. So my entire academic career, I have very few times gotten below a C as a final grade, and most people would even say that C is not that bad. And so I always did really well in school, and usually, especially in females, kind of one of their like signs, I guess, for ADHD is doing poorly in school. Why? Because they get distracted easily, and they can't focus as well in school, or they're chatty, or they're daydreaming. I think a lot of it too has to do, at least for me, why I did so well in school, and why people don't catch me being super chatty, or catch me being, you know, super daydreamy at least, is when I'm really good at pretending that I care about things. I'm really good at active listening, even if I'm not listening. So I guess technically it's not active listening, but it's masking that I'm listening, which is people will say things to me and I will just respond generally with, oh, and general things like that, which, you know, or whatever. If people ask me a question, I feel like most of the time my brain will kick in and be like, they're asking me a question, and sometimes I answer it generally correctly, in the format that they asked me. If it's a yes or no question, I will say yes or no, or if it's not a yes or no question, that's kind of hit or miss. Also, I'm sorry about this horrendous shadow that is happening right now. I wonder if I flipped this visor down. I don't know if it was the visor, just the fact that I changed directions, but Yeah. So for me, I was not a super chatty kid. I was quite shy, and I attribute that mostly to the fact that I had social anxiety, and I really just didn't like talking to people. And even now, I don't enjoy talking to people. Grayson and I were at Best Buy last night looking for a little repair kit for for my old laptop. And this lady just comes up to us and she's like, I need a girl's opinion. And it took me a minute to process that she was talking to me. I'm quite an awkward person. If you ever meet me in person, you will know. I just don't take offense to it. I'm a horrendously awkward person. So she came up to us and she was like, I need a girl's opinion. And like I said, it took me a second to process what she was saying. And she was like, I can't decide between the color of these earbuds. And they were like the Samsung earbuds. And for me, I didn't like any of them. First of all, I don't own a Samsung phone. We were just looking at them because I have been interested in switching from an iPhone to a Samsung. And that's just my personal preference. Yeah, this thing is not doing jack shit for me. That's just my personal preference. I've always had iPhones, but I was thinking about switching to a Samsung at some point. So we were looking at them, the new Samsung phones, the Note 10, Note 20, and we were, whatever the newest one that is out right now. We were looking at those, and this lady comes up to us and she's asking about these Samsung earbuds. And quite frankly, I don't like them. I don't like any of them. But she seemed very adamant about the fact that she was going to buy at least one of the color options that they had of these earbuds. And that's fine, that's her prerogative. But I didn't know how to say, you know, I'm sorry, I'm not an Android user, I don't have a Samsung. And I know that's not what she was asking me. Like, she was asking me, like, which color do I like best? Which is, you know, has nothing to do with the fact that I use iPhone and not Samsung. But I think in my brain I was like, I don't like any of them either anyway, regardless. And so, but I didn't know how to tell her that because, like I said, she was very adamant on getting at least one of the color options. So instead of answering her, I just stood there and I said nothing. And Grayson had to kind of come into the conversation and provide something to the effect of, like, you know, I don't really care that they're that shiny, whatever. Even though she clearly wanted my opinion, my brain absolutely refused to do anything in that moment. So yeah, I'm a very awkward person. It is very difficult for me the whole point of this spiel is the fact that I'm not a super chatty person. My social anxiety kind of kicks in and I don't really say much. In class, I would never, you know, be super chatty, talking to my friends, getting in trouble, you know, talking during class, partly because I didn't have friends. I really didn't have friends. And I was too afraid of authority that I would never risk getting in trouble anyway. So there's that aspect. That's why my ADHD kind of flew under the radar for a really long time. I'm 22 now, I'll be 23 in May. My ADHD has been undiagnosed since then, since, you know, I was a child. And there have been many cases where I, you know, would catch myself, at least when I was a kid, to me it was normal, this is just the way I think, this is how all kids think. As I grew older, I kind of realized, you know, the way that I'm thinking is different than the way that other people think. It's different than how other people process conversations, how they process, you know, what they're going to say. As you could see, I took a very strong detour about this random lady in Best Buy when I could have easily just said, I'm a very awkward person to speak to, my anxiety, my social anxiety kind of kicks in, and that's why I'm not super chatty. That's really straight to the point, right? No, I had to go off on this tangent to provide an example to prove that I'm not lying. I don't know. So that's a big area where I notice my ADD or my ADHD kind of kicks in, is that aspect forgetful I am. And I will give you examples. So, 2 days ago, when I was having my therapy appointment, right before then, Grayson was hungry, so I ordered him some food, and then my therapy session started, and I didn't look at my phone for the entirety of my therapy session, really, because since we don't meet in person, we do it, I don't like Zoom calls personally, so we do it over the phone, just normal phone conversation. And then our therapy session lasted for like an hour, and then after that, did I realize, oh yeah, I bought food an hour ago that's been sitting outside, and it's like 40 degrees outside. So I felt really bad. I was really sad about it, and personally, I think I was more upset about the fact that I had forgotten about Grayson's food than Grayson was. Well, that sucks, don't it? Just ran off the road there, took all those poles with you. So yeah, I was more upset about the fact that I had forgotten, I think, than Grayson was. He seemed mildly disappointed in the fact that his food was cold, but like, I almost cried because I felt really bad. And I also think I was getting really frustrated with myself, and I think that's another thing that I've been really kind of honed in on, is the fact that when something happens, and I know that it's not completely my fault, it's the fact that, you know, I forgot, and I just forgot. And I didn't want to forget, but my brain just chucked that information out and said, no thank you. And then I feel really guilty about it, and then I feel, you know, really sad because I'm frustrated, and I'm like, why can't I just process things normally? Why can't I just remember things normally? Why can't I just do this? And so I was really upset about it. I even went downstairs and popped his fries in the toaster oven to warm them back up. But that's just one example of, like, I'm very forgetful, and I'm forgetful about things that may or may not be important. It's really dependent. So, you know, I'll put my phone down, and I won't even, it's like one of those things where I don't even register in that moment that I've sat my phone down until I remember that I don't have my phone. And then I can't remember where I put my phone. So I lose my phone a lot. I lose just other things a lot. I lose my vape a lot. I lose, you know, a lot of things. And then I forget, sometimes if they're not super important to me, like my phone that I use every day, I'll set something down, or I'll put something away, and then I just forget that that thing exists. I forget that it's there until I see it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that thing right there. It can be really frustrating. And another thing that I remember is I'm super forgetful, I lose things a lot, and also I get really hyper-focused on things. So some people think of ADHD as like, you're really spacey and you forget things, you know, often. But then there's also kind of the flip side where, you know, if you're really interested about something, Subi! I want to make my Subi like that! Sorry, it's a little reindeer, and his little wing has Christmas lights on it, which I've been wanting to do to my wing for a long time, and I'm going to do that today. I'm going to buy battery-operated Christmas lights, and I'm going to string them on my wing whenever they get it. Anyway, again, sidetracked. I get really distracted easily. But there's the flip side of ADHD, where you get super hyper-focused on things, you kind of lose track of time. So, like, if you're really into a new game or whatever, you get super focused on it, and then hours and hours have gone by, and you don't even realize it because you've been so tunnel visioned into this thing that you're interested in. That doesn't happen to me a whole lot, it right then and there. And I could tell that he was getting a little irritated, and I could tell that he was like, I'm tired, I just want to go to bed while you're doing this right now. But I was just so engulfed in, I have to do this right now, and I have to take care of the situation right now. And I was feeling really defeated, and I'm pretty sure I cried. Like, I'm pretty sure I cried about it because I was so frustrated with myself, and I was so frustrated with, like, it's fine, I can just look for them tomorrow. But my psyche said, no, you can't, you have to do it now. And I was so frustrated with that aspect of my brain. And finally I was really defeated, and I was really upset, and I was like just ready to say, fuck it, I'll just do it tomorrow. I'll just live with it and I'll do it tomorrow. And so we go back into the bedroom, and I said, and we were literally, Grayson's already back in bed, and I was getting ready to go in bed. And then I said, wait, I'm gonna check one more place. If I don't find it there, I will come back to bed. But I just want to check one more place. And lo and behold, there they were. There were my contacts sitting in the top drawer of my makeup desk that I use every day. So I don't know why that didn't process in my brain that I use my makeup desk every day, because I sit there and I do my makeup there. Do I use the top drawer of my makeup desk every day? Probably not, which is probably why I forgot that I put them in there, because I don't open the top drawer of my makeup desk every day, because I don't really keep a whole lot in there. And so I guess I just didn't see them, and I forgot that I had put them there, and my brain forgot that they existed up until the point that I really needed them, and then I got so stressed out about the fact that I needed them that I could do nothing else but look for them, and I could not relax until I found them. And so that to me was really frustrating. That is kind of another feature that I've noticed that is really frustrating in my life. And I could go on and on about all the different examples of times where I've just, especially recently, like, because let me tell you, I downloaded TikTok unironically. I downloaded TikTok as an ironic thing, and then I began to become unironically obsessed with it. And then I found out through TikTok, all these ADHD people on TikTok talking about their ADHD, and I thought, that is really familiar. Those situations sound very familiar to me. And so in that of itself, I decided I'm going to look into this more for my sake, for my sanity, and I'm going to see, do I have ADHD? And I decided, I think self-diagnosing may or may not be the best thing to do. Depends on who you are, if you're willing to take the time to do research and to look into it and to, make a logical conclusion that you may have symptoms of this thing, I think that's okay. If you just look up one symptom, like on fucking WikiMed or whatever, and you have one thing in common with it and you self-diagnose yourself with it, I think that's a different problem. But I did notice I had a lot of similarities, and I decided, since I do have the resources available, I was going to get an ADHD evaluation. So I do thank TikTok, honestly, for kind of letting those ideas, or exposing me to, this thing that made me feel like I had answers. Because for a long time I thought to myself, what's wrong with me? And I think that at least once on a daily basis, where I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And I know that's a really poor mindset to have. There's nothing wrong with me. It's okay to be the way that I am. I'm really hard on myself, and I need to not, and that's something I have to work on. But it was nice to see other people also struggle with the things that won't do it just because it's really difficult for me. And I don't want to park in the back because it's freaking cold outside. So I'm gonna park down here and they're gonna be mad at me. I can't even park down here. It's so dang busy. Can I park down here? I'm gonna park in front of this conference room and no one is gonna like me. But yeah, so people really, oh boy, not people. What am I talking about right now? I'm at work. I'm gonna finish this off by saying, I know how I am. I know that doing things for me, new things, changing my routine is really, really difficult for me. And I recognize that, and I recognize that if I left my treatment up to myself of just changing how I do things, trying to organize my life better, I know that I will fail miserably at it. And I don't want to do that. And so I decided for my personal benefit that one thing that I'm really good at doing every single day is I'm really good at taking my medication. I take birth control every single day. I've taken birth control since I was in middle school because I had horrendously irregular periods. So I've taken birth control every single day for so long, for probably over a decade. I'm really used to taking pills every day. I take my birth control every day. I take my antidepressants every day. I'm good at doing that. So this was just another thing that wasn't going to be difficult for me to do, which is take medication every day. And hopefully with that, you know, I can finally get some sense of control where I can start changing things in my everyday life and make those a habit, and then I won't have to be so reliant on medication. So yeah, that's been my whole spiel. I am really thankful for it. I'm really thankful for the fact that I have the resources available to me. I'm honestly thankful for TikTok for kind of opening my eyes to the fact that this is something that I have. Do I think you should go self-diagnosing yourself off of TikTok every day? No. But I do appreciate the fact that I got a lot of informed opinions, or a lot of how do I say it? People on TikTok who have ADHD gave me a lot of good, valuable information that I was able to use, and I'm really thankful for that. But yeah, that's the end of my video. I'm sorry if it was rambly. I'm sorry if it was long. But I felt like it was a video worth making anyway, and I just happened to have time to make it today, which is on my way to work. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up, go down below, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get notified of whenever I decide to upload videos. I'm sorry for this kind of chill, nonchalant, very kind of rambly video, but I hope you enjoyed anyway, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!